That's just what we need to do. Well, welcome back, my friends, to another rousing rendition. A Sunday with Kirk rendition. We're in the backyard. You see the tree. Here's the deal, guys. I brought a bunch of knives over. We're going to have our normal Sunday conversation. We're going to go over them, get your opinions on them, get Kirk's opinions on them, and just talk a little bit about knives. It's what we like doing. Do me a favor, Bubba. Start showing them. I'm going to do our intro like we do. You give them a rundown. We always do this like we're going to get through a bunch of them. Here's the deal, guys. There was a time in this country where 22 vets a day took their own lives. Now, stats are everywhere. We're coming off a weekend. Numbers a little higher. The real numbers are between 15 and 29, and that's just too many. So that's why we focus on the number 0. Anything over 0 is simply unacceptable. Vets, we love you, and you have a place here. Dude, that's all in the world that means. You're welcome here. I back Blue over here. I support Leo. Don't ask anybody else to. It's been a long-running thing on the channel. My kid's about to become a cop, but there's more reasons than that. The biggest thing is I don't ask you to. Something I believe in. Finally, if you are an addict, never quit quitting. Now, none of the 3 have anything to do with it. They're just my causes, and I appreciate all the love and support. And even when you disagree, I appreciate the support. Well, here we go. This is the V44X. Now, there's been a lot of conversation about this knife. It is a take on the Marine Raider Bowie. Now, Kirk's not a huge, big knife guy, but it's work tough gear. Quality.
It's work tough gear. That's all you got to say. I mean, it's an awesome knife. If you like this kind of knife, hell yeah. If I was into these things, I'd buy one in a heartbeat. Fit and finishes, work tough gear. That's all you got to say anymore. Everybody knows about them now. It's actually pretty well balanced. It's not super heavy. It's controllable. I don't have a bitch about it, really.
The thing with that one is
that's odd for me.
Exactly. Well, the thing about this knife, it's a big knife. There's no disputing that. It carries differently. Pick out your favorite one. Let's go ahead and talk about that one.
This, in my opinion, is probably the best knife that Work Tough Gear has come out with. This is my style of knife. This style blade, anywhere from a 4.5 to 6.5 is what I go for. And this thing is almost perfect. It's beautiful. I love the hell out of it. He's going to have a hard time getting out of here without it.
This one's the asset, guys.
Yeah, it feels awesome too in the hand. It's well balanced. I mean, it's got everything you need in a knife and nothing you don't.
This one, now we did a hard use video on this one. I've had a lot of comments. Some people are like, oh, it looks like a BK2 or BK10. It has some elements of that. But for me, the thing with this knife, just like I said in the video, there's the weights in the handle. So it's great in hand. It feels the hand. It's just well done. The guy who designed this, now ODM is his company, I believe. He designed the Wilderness Warrior. Both of us really like the Wilderness Warrior. I'm hoping they do another run of them, but they've got to do another run of this one. It's SK85 steel, G10 handles, blue liners. It's called the asset, and honest to God, that's what it is. I love this knife. Kirk, this is his favorite. It's absolutely phenomenal. Now, I'm going to pick out my favorite one of this group. And it's going to surprise some of you. And when I say favorite, I mean from a learning standpoint. This is the Timberwolf. Again, SK85. Now, this is something both Kirk and I and Grugsy Legion Tactical and several others have advocated for. This is actually Vic Lynn's design. And we've been screaming at Mr. Vic to bring his designs back. And he's a humble guy. He really is. He said, Scott, I love seeing designers light up. I love helping them fulfill their dream. And Mr. Vic, if you're watching, we love you for it. But we like your stuff too, a lot. You're what put them on the map.
Definitely.
And it's the same thing. It feels great in hand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's just certain knives speak to certain people. From the time I showed Kirk the asset, he was all about it. And that's the way it was for me with the Timberwolf. Now, is it my all-time favorite? No, but a little bit more use than it may be. I mean, it's hard for me to say I got a favorite Work Tough gear. I mean, it's hard for me to say I got a favorite knife, to be honest with you.
My two favorites of the Work Tough gears that I have would be the Mount Bushman and the Elbrus.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, I went hiking yesterday, and I took the Elbrus with me. That's been with me for the past 4 hikes. I just love the hell out of it. It's an awesome design. It's not super heavy. It'll chop through anything I need to, because we had a storm go through here a couple weeks ago, and it downed a few trees on the trail, and I hacked my way through 4 to 6 inch branches and stuff out of the way. It took a little time, but nothing major.
Now that was your 3rd or 4th Work Tough gear, wasn't it? Didn't you, that one came in?
My first was the Teal.
Yep.
The second was the Mount Bushman, and my third was the Mini Teal,
Yep.
which I have still.
Did I give you the Elbrus?
Yes, and you gave me the Elbrus, which is almost the same design as the Mount Bushman. Except
Close.
It's got a little bit more point to it, and it's, I think, like a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch longer.
Yeah.
But
We'll break those out next week.
Yeah, the feel is pretty much the same, but they're both awesome.
What we'll do next week is we'll do Vic's designs that we have between the two of us. I wanted to talk about this one a little bit, give this one some love. This one was designed by Josh Blankenship.
This is another awesome one.
It's the Blackout.
This is sweet. I really like this one too.
This one's been around for 3 or 4 years, if not longer, maybe 5. But I think I came along after the first run of these. Now, I got a Blackout XL. You've seen that one. But this is the original. And I've got to say, as a guy, a big knife lover, I honestly kind of like this one more.
I like the way the handle's designed. It locks your hand in. Mm-hmm. Really good. I mean, really, really good, solid grip too.
And it's I believe it's SK85 G10 again. I believe that's...
Yeah, I can't read that, man. Glasses are in the house, guys.
Now this is for, yeah, SK85, but now this is designed by Josh Blankenship over at Ancora Knives. He's out of Georgia, awesome dude. He's done a couple of builds, the Hellcat, the Bobcat. He's done a couple of those for Bobby Shoot. He's got some really good quality too, but he designed this one, made by Work Tough Gear. There's a lot that I like about this one, a lot. And just so you guys know, at least 99% of Work Tough Gear's knives have a 90-degree spine.
Yeah.
They really do. They come in handy. Yeah, I like that. That locks in good. You got a nice little pommel there. I really dig that one.
Yeah, that's a sweet design.
Now, I want to do, what else? That's, okay, last Work Tough Gear, right?
Yeah.
This one, guys, this one's special to me for a lot of reasons, okay? Now, Kirk's not a big knife guy. I let him pick out his, now that's not to say he can't use them, he does, but this one means more to me, and I'm going to cover it more when I do the video for it, but this is the Droth. It's kind of a smatch it type look. It might have had a little inspiration from there, but this is Jason Dixon's design. Now, if you're familiar with the knife, Carnivora came out with a design through Jason Dixon. Shade made it. You've seen me do a lot of videos with it. There's just something about it. Work Tough Gear picked it up, and I'm so, sometimes, and Kirk will tell you, I'm always a sucker for a big knife, but this one, there's just something about it, right? I love the guy that designed it. It feels good in hand. It's I don't know, man. There's certain knives, we've talked about this before, that's a vibe knife, like the Asset was a vibe knife for Kurt. This is just a vibe knife for me. And I want to see it do well. I'm going to do what I can to make it go well. But again, it's good quality, it's good fit and finish, and it just speaks to me on a different level.
This is not, trying to figure out how to word this. This is not stupid big. This is something that I would carry. It's not, usually 6.5 to 7 inches is the max I go as far as something I'm going to carry. Because I mean, any situation I come into, that's all I'm going to need. If I need anything more than that, I'm going to carry a damn axe with me, if I foresee a need for something like that. But this, I mean, it's not stupid heavy. It's controllable. It's well balanced. Of course, it's weighted towards the blade. It's going to be a hell of a chopper.
Yeah.
Without having to have a shit ton of mass to it. It's just the design, the belly and the blade, and the edge geometry. It's going to eat through the wood quick. It's
and
nice.
it's a hell of a stabber.
Well, yeah,
It's
that
almost
too.
got like a spear, like from here up, it's almost like a spear point.
It is. It's a leaf-shaped spear point, period.
And there's just something about it that resonates with me. And Jason, I'm excited for you, man. I mean, I really,
Yeah.
like, heartfelt excited for you. That's the other side, guys. People say, oh, Scab, you're a fanboy for work. Yeah, I don't hide it.
Why not be?
I don't hide that. I don't make a dime off of them. I enjoy it. I'm appreciative of them. But you know why I love them so much too? For one, quality's always spot on. It just is. You don't hear a lot of bad. The only thing bad you hear about Work Tough gear is they don't make enough of them. And that part, guys, there's 6 people that work there, and dude, if y'all don't think Mr. Vic wouldn't want to make them, but you have to look at it like this. He's got 6 folks working there. They're putting out what they can. They're helping designers. Let's be patient. A man's building his dream. And I think 3-4 years down the road, they're going to be the premier company. I just do. Next one. This one is not Work Tough gear. This is the Outlaw, made by Tony Powers. We talked about it a little bit the other day. I'm absolutely, Blackie showed me this one after I about cut my finger off. And here's what drove me to this knife. Even when I had my finger stuck out like that, that's still incredibly comfortable in hand. We're going to do a review on it, a hard use review on it. I think Blackie's got one out, but the belly of the handle, the blade shape, everything about this knife is slicing, cutting. The balance is good.
Yeah, it's an awesome little EDC.
I love the handle.
Yeah.
Everything's in line.
It's right there.
Yeah.
You grab it and it's right there. There's no moving around. Right? It's right there. But I mean, you can say that for anything Work Tough gear puts out.
That's true.
You grab it, it's right there. You don't have to adjust your grip. You're not looking for the sweet spot on the handle because, boom, it's right there.
And the thing is with that knife, that was, thank you, Tony had made one of these for Blackie to check out. And they talked about it, and Tony said, and I don't remember, I think it was a color scheme or something. And Blackie told me, he says, Gab, it was awesome, the original one. He said it was just, he said he asked me how it was, and I mentioned the color scheme, so Tony went and whipped him up another one. To whip one of these up, and you just have to hear Blackie tell it, that's pretty damn impressive. But the thing is, now, I'm not sure, and I'm going to tag Tony in this video, I don't know if he's going to start making these, or like he's going to have a line he makes. If he does, you might want to jump on it, because like Kirk said, it's just there. It feels good. Everything feels good in hand. It's light. It's well balanced. Anytime, if you see me do that a lot, guys, and I'm moving it around, it's not a scientific way to test. I'm not saying that it is, but it does feel good in hand. The balance point's there. And again, I think I showed y'all this the other day. See how that tip is just off center there? What that's telling you is it's hand forged and it's not machined, which makes it more impressive to me. So got a hard use review on this one coming. We got one more, two more that we're going to discuss with y'all. I hope everybody's having a great week. This one,
That's another awesome one.
I'm going to let Kirk give you his thoughts on this. This is the William Collins Knives, WC Knives, Master Woodsman Blackbird Edition in AEB-L. Micarta handle scales, absolutely wicked.
Yeah, this handle is awesome. I mean, it's hard to describe the feel of a knife unless you pick it up yourself. But I mean, it's just there. And I was a little, when I first pulled it out of the Kydex, I looked at the grind, I'm going, oh shit, some weird ass grind. But after I looked at it, I'm going, no, it's really not. And it's practical. And it's a good length. I mean, it's something I would carry in a heartbeat. And it feels good. It's got good balance to it. Obviously good steel. And workmanship's incredible.
The thing with Williams knives is they feel a million times better than what you think they're going to.
Mm-hmm.
They really, really do. I mean, it's quality, but it just, again, it's there. It feels good. I don't need a choil. This part of the handle acts as such, so you can wrap in, you can lock up. You see the bottom pommel there? It's a sunk lanyard hole. I like that, but it just feels good. And then on the sheath, make sure I'm getting it right.
Yep.
You've got the copper fittings, the leather. It's going to ride good. I love everything about this knife. The other side is with these grinds, you sharpen it all the same way.
Yeah.
So there's no complex. And talking to William, he had a great point. He says, Gav, if I made it where you had to sharpen the grinds differently, nobody's going to do that. It's going to be a pain in the ass. He said, but when you make it to where you can put it on a stone and run the entire length of the knife and be done. And I watched him do it. I was cutting up some wood with a knife, and he said, man, let me hold that. It's not cutting good. And he showed me, went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it was all right there. All right, last one. And this one is different. This one's through Carnivora, and we've seen a big shift in Carnivora. They do the wild, crazy stuff, which I personally love, but they're moving more now into, they've got a lot of guys who are in the military, active military, retired military, and they're doing some different stuff. This is the Morrigan. I'll have details on the maker, the designer, etc. when we do the video. It's NW2 steel. Now, that's not going to be the production run, but it's what this knife's in, which I'm a fan of. This one is one that feels, I hate saying it feels better than it looks, because then it's a knock on the look, and I'm not saying it that way. I'm just saying it looks one way. It's got kind of an aggressive tactical, but to me, man, it just fills up the hand. It feels good. It's W2 steel, and I absolutely adore it. That's a regular spine. You look at the little bit of a recurve to it, or a lot of a recurve to it. It's going to be a hell of a stabber. I'm going to try to get this one out this week.
Yeah, this is another one I was surprised that I like it as much as I do, because when I first saw it, I'm going, eh. But it's just the feel.
Yeah.
It's just the feel of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the scales are a little smoother than I like, but it still locks in your hand pretty good.
And it's aggressive without being overly aggressive.
Yeah. And it's not stupid long. It's not heavy. I mean, it's something else that I would have no problem carrying.
And I think it's one that you could use for multiple purpose. A lot of times we see a knife like that, we go straight to the tactical thing. And here's the deal. Megan and I had a conversation today. There's a lot of times that I stress that it's a tool. It is. But where I want to come clean a little more is this. I guess in the back of my mind, it's always going to be a weapon. It may not be a weapon first for what I'm using it for, but I think sometimes, and I was telling her, I said, you know, sometimes I think I try to sell the tool side almost too much, when in the back of my head, it's never screaming at me, but I can always rest that, hey, I do have a weapon on it. And so, as weird as that sounds,
it doesn't sound that weird, because that's the way I look at my knives too. First and foremost, they're tools, but when I'm looking at them, when I'm looking to purchase a knife, I think about is it going to be useful as a weapon if need be. I mean, I spend a lot of times in the woods. Most of the time I'm by myself when I'm not at work, but when I go hiking, I'm by myself. If something goes down, I'm going to need something.
yeah.
I can't run anymore. The knees are shot. So whatever comes at me, I'm going to have to face it. But as far as knives go, you can use anything as a weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got the training and I've got the skills. I can use a damn pencil if I have to. But the point is, if it's going to lend itself to that capacity if I need it to.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's the thing. In the back of your mind, or in the back of my mind, I know, and I'll give you an example. I was out in the swamp today and getting a couple things done. And you hear movement, you hear sound. Kirk does, with what Kirk does with the mapping wetlands and stuff, he's like way out. So you hear everything that moves. But there's never like a real panic, and it's not a tough guy thing. In the back of my head, and I'm not even talking about humans or meth crap. I'm talking about when you're in the woods, you got to deal with animals. You don't know what's going to come out at you. You don't know what you got to deal with, and you don't know the situation. But it is a good feeling that, hey, I got something on me, and this knife lends itself to that too. If something were to come out of the woods, I know that it's going to stab the shit out of them. I know it's got a little off track there, but that's something too that I want to start factoring back into the videos. Yes, it's a tool, but if we look at it, that right there is as much a weapon as it is a tool, I guess, is my point. And it's good in hand, it's comfortable, fast. I really like this one, and I like the direction Carnivora is taking now.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, most of their designs that Scott showed me, I didn't like at all. I mean, it's just, I'm not into the whole fantasy thing as far as a using knife goes. I can appreciate the fact that it's related to the fantasy world and whatever, but when I'm looking at a knife, I think about, how am I going to use that? Is it going to be worth carrying? Is it going to be practical to use? Scott's more into the impractical stuff, but that's just Scott's nature.
Yeah.
I'm more into the practical use of the fucking tool, knife, weapon, blade, whatever the hell you want to call it. And that's just the way I look at things. Back to a little off track, what Scott was saying, you know, stuff in the woods. Luckily here in Florida, there's not a whole lot we got to worry about.
No.
You got your occasional fucking pissed off hog that might not want to fucking step off the trail. Sorry about the language. The surveyor came out at me. And I've had to face down a couple of hogs.
Which
luckily I didn't have to go hand to hand with them, because I'm pretty sure I would have lost. I would have got some licks in, but they backed off at the last minute. But I mean, hogs, coyotes, they're not going to bother with humans. You know, little kids,
random bear here and there.
Bear down here, 99.9% of the time, they're going the other way. They don't want to mess with you.
Side note on that, I saw a bear before you did, didn't I?
Yeah.
And he was mad as hell. And
yeah.
But that's how rare they are down here. That's exactly how Kirk's been in the woods for years. And I think we were working, and I think I'd been there 6-8 months. And I saw a bear, but that's the rarity of them.
Well, the thing is, I've been a surveyor for over 23 years. 98% of the time in the woods. That's where I do my work, in the woods. Basically grew up here in Florida. Never saw a bear until like 4 years ago. People say, oh, I'd see tracks, I'd see sign. I was out hiking at Rice Creek, where I usually go hiking, and I came up on a pile of bear crap, and it was still steaming. Never saw the damn bear. Finally, I said, bear don't exist in Florida. I don't care. I've never seen one. And then finally, about 4 years ago, I was hiking down at Rice Creek. I was on my way back to the truck, and crossing the trail road about 300 feet of me, there's a damn bear. I got on, I started texting everybody. I saw a bear, I saw a bear, I saw a bear. I was so excited. Because, I mean, been to North Carolina, Georgia, Yellowstone, obviously, Alaska. I've seen bear everywhere but in friggin' Florida.
Yeah.
Until 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's how, they're not exactly rare, but they don't want anything to do with people.
You're going to come across a hog before you come across a bear.
So if you're in the woods,
Kirk said, it'll mess you up.
No matter how quiet you are in the woods, they know you're there. Everything knows you're there. And I'm quiet in the woods. I don't talk, well, I'm by myself all the time. But I'm careful where I step. I don't make a whole lot of noise. Everything knows I'm there.
Yeah.
And it's just, they go away. They go the opposite direction. They don't want to mess with you. So in Florida, there's not a whole lot you got to worry about. I mean, snakes are here, but like I said, for over 23 years, I've been dealing with snakes. Most of the time, they don't want to mess with you either. They want to be gone.
Unless you corner them.
Well, yeah, if you're stupid enough to do that.
And we'll wrap this up. We've been going a minute, but one of the things is, like when we were out there cutting lines, and there'd be the silt fence. I know that there were 3 or 4 moccasins up against that.
Yeah. That
we saw, but we impeded their travel. And they'd get up in there and coil up, and we'd just kind of bypass them if we could. If we couldn't, but we didn't just randomly. But back to the whole thing, it's good to have a knife on you.
Yeah.
Comfortable having a knife on you. The truth is, and I did a whole video on why I like the impractical stuff the other day. Check that out. For me, it's learning it, because I have a channel. I have to bear that in mind too. There are differences, and those are things that we want to bring up. But that being said, we're gonna wrap it up. I've got a video on this coming out soon. This is the stranded Woodsman. We'll go into depth and detail on it. I'm Scab.
I'm Kirk.
You're not.
Don't want to be.
We're gone, son. Love y'all.
Later, guys. Take care.